Hello, I'm Carolyn Herbert from the Finance News Network, and joining me from semiconductor technology developer BluGlass is Managing Director and CEO Giles Bourne. Giles, welcome to FNN.
Thank you, Caroline.
Now, for investors who aren't familiar with the company, can you start by giving us an introduction to BluGlass?
Sure. So our technology is a process and equipment for developing high efficiency optoelectronic devices such as LEDs, solar cells, power electronics. The technology is called remote plasma chemical vapor deposition, quite a mouthful, also known as RPCVD. It's a low temperature deposition technology that allows the production of these high efficiency applications. The technology came out of Macquarie University about a decade ago. It was some really interesting development that was going on there. We saw the opportunity. We brought the technology from the university. We still remain a major shareholder of the company. And from there, we listed the company, raised capital, and continued the R&D cycle up until this point now where we're sort of pushing towards commercialisation.
And Giles, you've just released your first half results for 2017. What were the highlights?
So it's been a very interesting half year for us, very good. So the highlights really for us is that we've talked about scaling to our investors. We scaled up one of our key reactors, which brings the uniformity in line with a 2-inch equivalent wafer. We also signed a major foundry order as well. We've been developing a foundry business and we had our biggest ever order came in at the back end of last year. Furthermore, we entered an agreement with a company called IQE, a UK-based semiconductor foundry business. It's been a very good collaboration for the business because it opens up some new avenues for us. And then LumiLEDs, which is one of the leading LED companies, we actually achieved the first phase of our collaboration with them, and now we're well and truly on track in the second phase. And at the end of the second phase is really when we start to talk about commercialisation of the technology with them.
And now to the adoption of your technology. Can you tell us about the agreement with IQE?
Sure. So IQE is one of the newer agreements we put in place. They're a leading UK semiconductor foundry business, very active in RF, in satellite, in base station communications and so on and so forth. And they were looking to enhance their product portfolio by using our low temperature technology called RPCVD. So we've been using that with them in collaboration to really have a performance play on some of their technology applications. And so they are a growing foundry business with a very wide, diverse customer base in the semiconductor industry.
And what other collaboration agreements do you have in place?
Sure, so the other ones that I mentioned earlier with LumiLEDs, who are one of the leading developers of LED applications. For example, most automotive LEDs today would have a LumiLEDs product in them. They dominate the lighting market, the flash market, and they're striving for greater efficiency. So we have a collaboration in place with them, which is a phased collaboration. The first phase we achieved at the end of last year, which is a significant technical hurdle. The second phase we're well and truly involved in now, and we expect at the end of the second phase we'll enter into a commercial agreement with LumiLEDs. And then aside from LumiLEDs, we're also working with a company called HC Semitech, and they're one of the leading Chinese LED manufacturers. And so we have another project which again is to do with efficiency, improving the efficiency of their devices.
So what's the size of the market for your technology and your patent position?
Well, sure. So the market is breaking down to many different applications. The one that we've predominantly focused on has been LEDs, and that's said to grow to $216 billion by the year 2024. So it's a huge market, and we see ourselves as able to provide efficiencies to that market in terms of performance efficiencies. So there we're sort of entering into a very big market, and we're just on the cusp of that through these big collaboration agreements. So aside from LEDs, there's other applications which we're not experts on, but some of the people that we're working with are experts on, things like power electronics, laser diodes. And so we have customers in that space through our foundry agreement, which opens up some other very big and exciting markets. But most of our work today really has been LED based. And underpinning all of that, we have a bunch of patents. So we bought patents off Macquarie University, and then we've subsequently filed our own, and we now have 47 granted patents and about 18 applications in play, and we keep building on that portfolio because that is the core asset of what we have.
And now to finances, what's your cash position and are you fully funded?
Sure, I mentioned earlier that we did 2 capital raises last year during the calendar year, and we also did a share purchase plan, and we also received the R&D tax rebate. So all in all, we got enough cash in the business that takes us to a balance of over 10 million as we start this calendar year. And that at our burn rate gives us about 3 years of cash at normal operations. And we feel that's sufficient cash to get us through our commercialisation phase of the business.
And finally, Giles, what's your focus for the next 12 months and your long-term ambition for the company?
Sure, Caroline. Well, it's a pretty exciting 12 months ahead of us. For us, it's a combination of improving on the technology, and we've got a number of technology milestones that we have to get through, but it's also a year of commercialisation where we actually see the fruits of this decade of research that we've been doing, and we'd like to convert that work that we're doing into a commercial agreement. With the likes of LumiLEDs and some of the other activities that we're doing, we see that as being our primary focus. On top of that, we have this foundry business, which generates revenue for our BluGlass, and we will grow on that as well, because that opens up opportunities for the next generation of our technology.
Giles Bourne, thanks for the introduction to BluGlass.
No, thank you.